we're turning our attention to the men and women in blue who put their lives on the line in order to keep all of us safe in South Africa. Joining us in studio is 34-year-old Constable Tebogo Rafapa, who is attached to the Diepsloot police station. He holds an honors in forensic science and technology. We also have 33-year-old Constable Martin van der Westhuizen, who is the Gauteng's Valumgodi operations, and he's a qualified SAPS drone pilot stationed at the Littleton police station. Lastly, we also have 28-year-old Constable Kilebogile Mapeto, who is stationed at the Kempton Park police station. She holds a BSc degree in biochemistry and sociology, or physiology. Let me put it that way, physiology. I apologize for butchering that for a little bit. It tells you just how much I need to learn. To all of you, thank you very much for making it here today. I feel very safe right now.
Well, you should.
Guys, on a serious note, thank you for making time for us. Let me start with Constable van der Westhuizen. Why policing? What drove you to take up a career in this?
It's been my passion since I was 6 years old. I just watched police stories and I told myself that I want to be a police officer. It's also in the family. My father, grandfathers, their parents were all in the police. So I believe it runs in the blood, but it's a real passion, a calling, if I can put it like that.
Constable Mapeto, same question to you. Why policing as a career?
It's funny, I used to watch a lot of crime investigation documentaries. I still do, even right now. And it was always something interesting, but I never thought I'd end up as a police officer. But I knew I needed to do something within law enforcement, and I studied a BSc, as you said, and then I wanted to end up in the forensic science lab of the SAPS.
Wow. You're going to explain that to us a little bit more as we continue the conversation. Constable Rafapa, why policing?
I mean, for me, it started indoors. My father's still in the service. He's my role model. You know, I grew up looking up to him. And every time he'd come back looking good in the uniform, you know, I just saw myself in there, you know.
Yeah.
And I've always told myself that, you know, one day I'm going to be there. And also coming from the fact that we live in a township, you know, where it's crime-ridden, you know. So I also told myself that I want to be part of the change, you know.
Yeah.
And SAP has provided that platform for me. But as Van der Westhuizen said, you know, I always had that passion also, you know. You need to have that passion, you know, so that you can have that will to work, you know, freely and enjoy it, you know.
You are actually linking us very nicely to the next discussion topic, and that is policing is a very dangerous job. And some may say it's a thankless job. How are you prepared for just how rough it can be in the field? Constable van der Westhuizen.
Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a very dangerous job, as you said. But I believe someone has to do it. Our community needs police officers that is willing to take the risk, to be their safe space, and we need to ensure that the community knows they can come to police officers. They don't have to be scared. They can put their trust on us. So yeah, it is dangerous, but once it's a passion, you know how to overcome those dangerous situations and how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And experience going forward, you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
I mean, we learn things from our colleagues, from our commanders, superiors. So it helps you to overcome those dangers and to be able to serve the community with the dignity and pride that they also deserve to be served with.
Constable Mapeto, I'm going to ask the same question but differently. I've just come back from Mthatha, and I know that at the front of the search and recovery efforts there. It is the police officers. Yes, they've enlisted the help of other organizations, like, for example, Gift of the Givers. But this is the team that gets to the scene of a body, a dead body. I won't lie to you. I will never be there to witness that because I think I'm too weak to see that. That's the kind of question I'm trying to get out of you. How are you prepared for that kind of moment when you come face to face for the very first time with a person who's died? It doesn't matter how, because sometimes these things can be very gory.
Well, I don't know. You just wake up and you come across it. You process what's happening, but at that same, in the very moment, you're probably not sure what's happening. But later on, when you recall what has happened, you're like, actually, that was not right, or like that was a very scary scene.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Constable Rafapa, did you remember your first day when you came face to face with the dead person? And how were you debriefed afterwards?
Yes, it's been quite a while now, because I've been 10 years in the service now.
Yeah.
So, and I'm working in Diepsloot, a community that is notorious for crime.
It's rough.
Yes, very rough, and I've attended countless murder scenes. So there's been quite a lot of scenes, but some are more horrendous than others. And then some stick longer, depending on the situation that led to the death, But as they've said, you can't plan for something like this. But again, you just need to put your emotions aside and actually be there for the family, respect that that dead body belongs to a separate family, and then give them that closure, But it was terrifying. It was terrifying. But I can just say that I remember after the first scene, after the mortuary had just left, it doesn't actually sink in at that time, Only as time goes on, and then you start to think, I'm like, yes,
Jeez.
I just saw that, But we also have chaplains at our stations. There's EHW, so that if that gets too much, you're free to go anytime.
Yeah.
So I've been there like once or twice just to talk, get things off my shoulders, to make me feel at ease, so that I can continue with the job.
Do you know what impresses me about all of your responses? It's how you put the family of the dead person first, because they're still a human being. Yes, they might be no longer breathing anymore, but it's how you treat that person that I think brings that human being to human being level. Yes, you're a police officer, and that family depends on you right now to give them almost a shoulder to cry on, but as well as the dignity that their person deserves. Is that something that is taught in the police force, Martin?
We during training, you get taught how to deal with certain situations and when you experience something. But I believe it differs from person to person.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's not just any person that can become a police officer.
Yeah.
It's how you deal with things as a person as well, and how you treat other people. I believe that respect is number one on the priority list for the deceased, the family, as well as for your work and the procedures that needs to take place. So.
Yeah. See how heavy this discussion can be, but I want to bring the fun part of it now. I see you've brought some gadgets here. You are what is called a drone pilot.
Yes.
Explain to us what the gadgets are in front of us and what do you do as a drone pilot?
Okay. So we have what we call the aircraft. It's an unmanned aircraft. You use this remote. I'm just going to pick it up so that we can see it.
Yeah.
This is the remote that you use to control the aircraft. So whatever the camera on the aircraft sees is what I see on this screen of the remote.
Yeah.
And that's how I also control and fly the drone. And then this is a docking station with 2 extra batteries. The drone comes with 3 batteries. One is obviously on the aircraft, attached to the aircraft, and then you have 2 extra batteries to be able to fly. So we use the drones. It's a new thing that is established in the SAPS. Currently, I use it on Xoli Mngambi operations for aerial support, intelligence, but also we use it when we do displays at like the RAN show recently. We did a display, and then day-to-day crime prevention. We assist crime intelligence with footage of areas that we need to focus on. Also, as we've seen in the news, Operation Chanelas, we also use the drones at the roadblocks to capture the people that try to evade.
So you survey the area through a drone.
Yes,
And that brings about a certain level of safety so that human beings, warm body personnel like yourself, don't have to get yourself into danger. When you talk about Operation Xoli Mngambi, we know recently one of the topical stories was Stilfontein. Were you there? And was this part of what was in the operational space of the police?
I was not at that specific operation for the Xoli Mngambi. I'm only attending my first deployment under Xoli Mngambi now. Unfortunately, I cannot mention all the detail regarding the operations. But I believe it was also part of the operation. It's not being discussed who is there and who is doing what.
Or how you actually operationalize it. Because that kind of detail.
So I believe there would have been someone there that attended. It's just that I didn't attend on my own. Currently we are about 19 pilots in Gauteng. So it's possible that there was someone that attended, yes. So as you mentioned, also, unfortunately, the human resource is still needed to do the job. This is just a support system. It just gives the members on the ground a better idea of the terrain that they are going in. Because you can't always see with the human eye what danger is ahead. But if we can provide support from the aerial side, then we were able to alert the members of a danger much more earlier than when they see it with the human eye.
All right. Well, someone listening out there is thinking, oh, okay, so this is what being a police officer in part offers. This is, again, as I say, the fun part where you get to sell the police profession to a young person out there. Constable Mapeto, you hold a BSc degree in biochemistry and physiology. Am I right? Do you use these qualifications in your present job?
Currently, I'm not using these qualifications because my day-to-day job is assisting clients in the client service center when they bring any complaints. And those people, when they say, police officers are always angry when you come, but we're not, we're all friendly. And we listen, and
So public education is more...
Yes, and then, but hopefully I get into the unit where I use exactly what I studied for.
Wow. And Constable Rafapa, you get to conclude the conversation. A young person out there who sits and says, could I be a police officer? Should I? It's a dangerous job. What is it that keeps you going? What is it that makes you want to possibly retire as a police officer?
Now, the thing is, the fact that I know that I can bring positive change to someone's life, you know. Someone out there looks at me and says, you know what, back in 2017, you once helped me. I was going through this and this, you know, that is priceless, you know. And like I said, working in a community like Diepsloot, where there's only bad stories that are coming from Diepsloot, you know. The moment you just bring up the name Diepsloot, people just think crime. So, I mean, I, as well as my colleagues, you know, are at the forefront of trying to change that fact, you know. and to bring safety, I mean, in Diepsloot, not only in Diepsloot, I mean, in other communities around. And I mean, this is a thankless job, but with the passion and the love we have for this job, we wake up every day, you know, thinking that anything might happen, I might not come back, but you know, I'm willing to live with that. I'm going to put on my boots, you know, get ready for work. And, you know, I have so much pride in this uniform. I just feel so good.
Yeah.
And, you know, even my kid will say that I'm Superman or something like that, you know. But so it's just a reminder that we mean so much, you know, to a lot out there.
Well, let me say this. I think we were all proud of you, that you've taken such a job. It's a service to the community. Thank you very much for putting your lives on the line every day you go to work. I'm not so sure how many professions there are where there is that reality. Of course, there are the military people as well. Some of them have just come back into the country. Thank you. Thank you very much.